Welcome,
Hi,
Kelly.
Ed. Hi, Laura.
Hi. Nice to see
Hi.
the face. Yeah,
I
my face.
know. Same
Yeah.
thing.
So Kelly is our first client we've ever had on. We have guests pretty often, but they're usually professionals in the field. So this was pretty exciting. I loved her story. For those of you guys that didn't see it online, Kelly, you want to give them a little rundown of when it all started and how we got here?
Okay, so from the beginning, I was diagnosed in November of last year with ovarian cancer. And so that led me to having a total hysterectomy in January. So after I had that, and they did a sampleized lymph node, um, which came back as one of the lymph nodes tested positive for malignancy. So the doctor said, "You're now at stage 3. You need to get chemo. This is really serious." And so when that happened, I did not want to do the chemo. It was something just for me that I really felt it's not going to do anything good for my body. I wanted my body to get the chance to heal and really just go back to health. But I was so scared. I was in so much fear that the doctor kept coming at me and doing his job, but I just felt there had to be another way, another approach. And so my brother-in-law, who lives in New York, has a good friend there who is like a healer. She just met Ed probably within a week or two before I had spoken with her. And so she had said to me, "I just met this person, Ed. I know he's capable of doing these incredible things with energy. Would you be willing to try something like that?" And before she finished the sentence, I said yes. And it felt like just a little bit of hope in somebody that I really didn't know anything about, but I was willing to give this person a chance just to see. So I had sent him a text that night or that day, and he said, "I'll reach out to you later," which he did. He actually said, "I'm available now." And we spoke on the phone, and I said, "Would you be able to work with me and do some energy work?" And right away, very off the cuff, he did a little bit of energy that night with me. And I felt it immediately. And the weird thing was I not only felt it, it went to this sensation, it went right to my abdomen, and he didn't know anything about me. So I felt this heat in my abdomen. It got so hot. And then I could hear the energy. I could hear this high pitched sound, which is strange, but I could hear it. And so I really, after that session, I knew that that was something I had to keep doing. And I just think having the hope in something like that changed me from being so fearful to being so hopeful, and it settled my nervous system. So I wasn't as nervous about what I was doing anymore.
And
So
then
that's
so the timeline is it was November. This is now January, right?
January was the very first session. So I did two two privates with Ed, spaced them out a little bit, but he told me right away, "You don't need to do the privates. You can sign up for the healing rooms," which I did. And so I really, since the end of January, I've maybe missed 2 sessions. That's, I won't miss. I do it every single time because it's that important to do.
And how long from the time that you started with Ed did you get the first report back that it had already dropped?
So when you have ovarian cancer, the marker that they look at is the CA 125 marker. That one I needed to get below a 30. And after my surgery in January, I was at a 33, I believe. And so I got the report and it said 7.1. So within 30 days, My marker, without doing anything else, dropped to a 7.1.
Hmm.
I sent a text to the doctor. He said, pretty good. And then with the next month, it was down to a 3.7. That's when he sent me a text that morning and said, congratulations, phenomenal number. After that, it continued to go so low that now my latest result said less than 3, which is they can't even tell you the value because it's so low that they just say it's less than 3. And I've been reading that even had I done the chemotherapy at to go to 5 or below is remarkable. And so I'm doing this in a different way, but I know the results are showing that healing is happening. My markers are going way down, and my scan shows nothing. So I think it is pretty remarkable that this continues just to happen.
And it's a big thing with families, right? Their belief and blocking us and, telling us we're crazy and, we're too woo woo and this will never work. Did you get any pushback from your family? I know you had an interesting story with your husband.
My husband told me, he said, "You are scaring me. I want you, please be open to what the doctor's telling you." He's like, I'm telling you, you are scaring me so much. So I told him that I was going to try Ed. That was the first night. I said, I got in touch with someone that can do energy. So he kind of rolled his eyes at me. But then later on that night, after I finished the session, he said to himself, he said, okay, if my wife is going to work with Ed, I need a sign that this is real and that this guy has a special ability. Show me a sign. And he said a little prayer to Ed, which obviously Ed didn't know about, but he's got a little bit, he started seeing this energy in the room. And my husband is the most anti any of this. He just really doesn't believe it. But after he saw these little circles of energy floating around him, he he woke up the next day and told me, I saw something, just keep doing whatever it is you're doing. I think there's something to it. So I think you always get pushback because it's not what people normally do. But I
Hmm.
just thought my instinct, my intuition told me there just has to be another way to do this.
Hmm.
And so that's really why I feel trusting your gut and following your intuition is the most important thing you can do.
Yeah, I mean, even your husband, for as closed-minded as he was, he followed his intuition to ask that question,
Yeah.
right? Which is
Yeah.
amazing for me, closed-minded to even have the wherewithal or thought process to do
Yeah.
that. And then what was also interesting, we found out, we only just found this out today. For those of you that have been with us for a while, we stumbled upon Thomas Seyfried. Is it Seyfried? Seyfried? I'm not sure which it is. And his thinking is that cancer is a metabolic damaged mitochondria issue, not so much what traditional thinking has been. And when I found that information and I brought it to Ed, I was so excited. I was like, oh my God. I go, this explains why you are so lethal with cancers. I go, not to mention everything else, because damaged mitochondria would be pretty much anything, right? And I saw that, we were so excited. We put it in the newsletter. We said, look at this. Of course he's getting pushback from the medical community, and that's really all you need to know there. And then Kelly told me something interesting today. What did you find out about Thomas Seyfried?
What did I find out
Yeah,
about
like
him?
when you knew about him before we stumbled
Yeah.
upon him.
My therapist, Linda Burns, who's really helped me through this whole process too, she had said to me at the time back in November, December, reach out to him, see if you can email him. He really is responsive to people going through cancer. Each cancer, he has a really specific protocol of diet and fasting, and he sends you all this information. He responded right away. So I think there's just so many things out there that
Yeah.
you can do for yourself. But I think that the healing with Ed is different because I think it's your body, even if you do all these things, it's almost like you got to reset it. And you need to just have that help in doing that. And then you can do all those other things as well. But this was the biggest thing for sure.
Come up, blow the soot out of them, they'll start running the way they're designed to.
Yeah.
So this is why I like to always thank everyone for sharing the information and telling people, because you never know who you're going to reach. You just never know. And people either stumble upon Ed like I did with my mom. Like that was a complete stumbled into a situation. She's been ill, not getting any better, getting worse. Happened to get an invitation, run into this hillbilly alien. I'm like, Mom, you got to try this guy. And here we are. We're scans are completely clear. There's nothing there. Took her off all meds. I'm sure.
Amazing.
Yeah, that was probably pretty unusual for an 86-year-old that was going the other way. And then you have people that synchronicity, like Kelly, like they just happen to have met this person, and maybe you should give them a call. And then you have people that are finding them on social media. So again, you never know who you're going to reach. That's why we love always thanking everybody. And from there, we want to know if anybody has any questions. You can go ahead and put it in the chat. Cheryl, yeah, thank you for sharing your story. Courage is strongly keeping, guidance is inspiring. Cheryl, were you the one who told me down at the Psy Games about a tumor coming out like a hard baseball, and the scientists couldn't believe it after you had done a session with Ed? I think that was you or someone you work with. I think I was telling Kelly about that story today, or someone. It was really, really interesting. Ed, what do you want to contribute to all this? I mean, now that we've been doing all the talking like a couple girls, what do you want to talk about?
I'm sounding good. I'll
Yeah,
sit
yeah,
here and let y'all take the show. You're doing good. I'll just supply the energy and keep my mouth shut.
yeah. So, Ed is, I always say, healers are anomalies, and Ed is the anomaly amongst the anomaly.
Mm.
Um, so I often sign when people do inquiries, hey, can Ed help with, can Ed do blah, 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 blah. I answer them as best as I can. And I always end it with, you're in the right place. Because I want people to feel like this is it. Just put the time in, put the effort in, put the consistency in. It's not a 1-2 done. It is consistent. So if I can impress upon anybody anything, that's why we do these unlimited packages. Okay, Jeremiah, one of the problems I have with the cancer treatment industry is that there's no cap on how much chemo drugs can be marked up. That's why oncology centers are off-site from hospital. Interesting.
Mm.
Is it better to be fasted when delivering and receiving energy work? Try it both ways. I find it personally a little hungry. I feel it more. Good, Jeremiah, good job for taking responsibility. What you felt was right. Yeah, talk about following your intuition. Gayatri, I'm recovering very slowly from chemo effects myself. Yeah, my mom, I gotta tell you, definitely affected her, no doubt about it. But she, again, she's also 86, but it definitely, she was a lot sharper. She's coming back now, I think, because she's off of it, but it was definitely making her very forgetful, scattered, just not present. It just wasn't much of a life. And again, none of this is medical advice, guys. You gotta find your own way. Chemo is definitely going to be right for some of you, and that's your decision. And other you, maybe if you're on the fence, at least you have an option now. Before there wasn't much of an option. It was like hope or chemo, but now you got Ed. Kelly, it's really inspiring to hear your story. My friend was recently diagnosed with breast cancer, and she had a mastectomy immediately and wanted to avoid chemo, but everyone told her she's insane, and almost she got dragged there. She did one session so far. Are you open perhaps to have an offline conversation via email with her?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I know, Janice was on the other night, and she's already volunteered to help with some people that were struggling on different meds and questions and things like that. If you guys have any other questions, you can go ahead and put it in the chat. That was some really strong energy, Ed. I could feel my
Yeah.
heartbeat over here in my skin, and then I could feel it down here, and my heart was racing the whole time. And then I felt, what my head felt like, like when a bulb is starting to go bad, and it's like kind of like flashing and like sparking and a little bit. That's like what my head felt like the whole time.
Yeah. It
Nice
was good.
disguise. Yeah, our eardrums are so fuzzy. What's interesting, Ed, is I just always thought my whole life I had tinnitus, hearing that ringing, and perhaps I was just hearing energy my whole life, right? I really
Mm.
thought I had
Probably.
tinnitus my whole life. Does
It-
tinnitus
It's it's
just
the
have an
same
energy?
sound as what the tinnitus people describe,
Yeah.
except most of them are having like a nerve problem hearing, but the energy, if you're doing energy, you stuff. I hear
Yeah,
it
no,
all the time.
yeah, I've had it like as long as I can remember. I just always thought I had like a mild case of tinnitus.
I use it kind of to, when I focus out in space to kind of communicate with my alien buddies, that's when it really goes nuts. So,
I asked Archangel Raphael to help direct the energy to where I have the issue, and I felt like it was helping and saw a vision of cross inside the organ inside my body. I'm not religious or Catholic, but I appreciate the angelic help. Yeah, you know what? Wedding, um, I don't want to call them visions because now we feel like we're getting into a different area, but letting the visuals come to you is something I love because you're not like directing it. When we're doing the session, I'm definitely directing the energy. Like when we're doing the energy back and forth for the half hour and I'm doing like my whole, I'm going down my whole body. Like sometimes I will feel it like so strong in a certain area one night, and then like it'll be in a completely different area in another night. And I don't really have any issues that I, know of, probably from hanging out with you. But what do you think
this
that is?
is me doing something different.
That's you. All right.
Yeah. What
Patty,
locks into it? I lock in and make it dance.
I think that we covered it. Kelly, that was amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your story. I think a
Of
lot of
course.
people needed to hear it for a lot of different reasons. And of
Good,
course,
good.
because
I'm
this is
glad.
going to be recorded, a lot more are going to hear it. So we want to thank you. And Ed, thank you for being who you are, all the things that you
Yes,
be, and all the
I
things that
agree.
you
Thank
do.
you, Ed. Big
I'm
time.
just a hillbilly alien.
Well, you're one effective hillbilly alien, so lucky us.
Yeah. I'm gonna light you humans up. I
That's
got a few
right.
surprises for you.
And so we threw a little birthday party for Ed, and he walks in, and it was like a table of like 8 of us, and he's got a shirt that says human on it, right? And so we all start laughing. He goes, "What are you laughing at? You people are all the aliens." It was just so funny because it was so timing and so Ed. Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
great.
They're the ones that refuse to be what you really are.
yeah, yeah. Well, I think a lot of people are still finding out who they are. Although I think by the time you end up on here, you got a pretty good idea. I've always got this saying, nobody starts out with Ed, they end up with Ed. That is
Mm,
for sure starting to change. People are finding him earlier. They're finding him. I had my friend do it before surgery. She's completely healthy and she healed like you couldn't believe. Speaking of, my dad fell again. For all of you guys know, he is 88 years old, fell again as he keeps doing all these weird things to himself the last year and a half. And it's like he's been in the Ed lab, like nothing happens to him. Like it's so bizarre. So I made a little video of him after he fell last night, Ed, because if something does happen to him, he heals faster than a kid. Like I've never seen it. And like last night, he fell both knees first, nothing broken, onto tile, and it's just nothing. There's nothing there, Ed.
wow.
Oh, energy bubble.
Yeah, that's right. Sarah, whose birthday? Ed's birthday. Ed's birthday was he's a
It was
Leo.
just,
That's probably
I'm
what
a
you're asking.
Leo. That's all we know. We don't know what day it was on.
That's right. And we definitely don't know the year. Kelly, thank you again, and
My
we'll see you guys then.
pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Good night, guys.